And we're live. Now we're going to make sure that people can hear us. So I'm actually going to go on here. So bear with us, guys. If you're seeing and listening to us for the YouTube Live portion, give me a second, because last time we had trouble with the audio, so I want to make sure that the audio is working this time. Hold on. Won't let me on the internet. And I guess it is working.
It is working.
Bobby, you're a genius.
No, I don't feel like a genius sometimes the way this thing screws up. Okay. All right, so it looks like we do have sound. I have my iPad here, guys, so if you don't hear sound, if something happens, just let me know somehow. Let me get on the network here. Oh, that's for home, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
Still have the numbers?
Yeah.
What is it? Okay, I couldn't remember what that was. All right, thanks, guys, in YouTube land. We got 2 viewers so far, so hopefully you can hear us.
Thank you to you, too.
Yeah, thanks,
That's
YouTube.
probably us, right?
So you can see now we have... Yeah,
That's what I said last week.
Yeah. Oh, we got 3, so people are getting on. So hopefully the sound is still working. So again, guys, if the sound's not working, I'm going to try to keep tabs on the Facebook group. But as you can see, we have special guest here, Mr. Jeremy Rusco. We're going to go to disc golf. Really?
7 viewers.
All right.
That's probably them at the shop.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Everybody has their own computer tuned in.
All right, so it looks like we're good to go from now. Okay,
right.
So I'm going to start recording on the audio portion so we can record the podcast. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I'm Bobby, Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, and as always, I have with me Eric Erratic McCabe.
All right.
We got another new one.
I like it.
So sometimes he can be a little erratic at home. So no, just teasing, guys. No, it's all good. So, and then of course, if you are watching the YouTube live session, you see we have a guest, Jeremy Rusco. How are you, Jeremy?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Good deal. But first, we're going to catch up with Eric McCabe. What's going on for you this week, Eric?
This week, just it's really nice weather out there, a little breezy. But been working on my game quite a bit, going out to the courses, making sure everything is fine-tuned and ready for this weekend. I'll be traveling down to Dallas once again for the Chains A-Tier going on in Rockwall, Texas.
Nice.
So.
Now tell everybody. Now last night I went and met you up at the Jones Park, and you did actually a little clinic. Tell us a little about that.
It was for the staff of a company here in Emporia, Kansas that helps out with special needs kids, and just as the group, they just wanted to learn more about disc golf, so we had a nice group of people come out, and we most of them had never even played or never heard of the sport, so we just introduced disc golf, very basic level, and it was really good time.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. What has been interesting to me, living in Emporia, knowing how big dynamic disc is that how many people, even in Emporia, have never heard of disc golf or dynamic disc, so I think it's cool to, even locally, reaching out and growing the sport.
That's what it takes.
Pretty cool. So, real quick, Jeremy, just to check in with you, what's going on with you?
All kinds of good stuff in the works as always. Busy week, getting ready for Bowling Green.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we are. You and I.
Yeah,
you're driving. You're driving, and I'm working. Headed out to Bowling Green tomorrow to be a part of the Bowling Green, or the Amateur Championships at Bowling Green. I forget how they word it, but 700 players, the largest amateur event in the world this year, so excited to be there. We had to miss it last year due to the Glassblown Open being on the same weekend, so it's going to be good to be back there. There's a lot of manufacturers there and a lot of players, and just a really good experience. And just got done shortly, just a bit ago, meeting with the city manager about making some course changes and course improvements that McCabe has had on his wish list, so we're hoping to get those in place, and now we're here.
Nice. You think you'll be done for Glassblown Open?
I hope so. We're pushing them.
Cool, cool. Now I know, like you said, I'm going to be driving down with you to Bowling Green. I'm going to driving. Yes, I'm going to take the quadcopter and see if I can catch some really cool footage and then some photography and stuff like that while we're down there. But I know that on April 10th, and April 11th, while we're down there, we're going to do a 2-disc challenge, right?
Yes, two-disc challenge. Come out. We're going to be at Waba's. There's a little 9-hole course at the back of Waba's Bar and Grill, which is where everybody hangs out. The player check-in is there. And yeah, $20 gets you the two discs, and going to play 2 rounds on the 9-hole course for 18 holes, and we'll be giving out additional prizes for the top finishers. And really, it's just about coming out and having a good time.
Nice, yeah. So I know that let's see, 2-disc challenges. So for $20, you get 2 discs, and you go out there and you play a round out at the course, right?
Yes.
And then we give away prizes to the winners, right?
Yeah, and I'll probably be in a good mood, so we'll give out a few extra prizes.
You always know when the owner's going to be there that the prizes are going to be really good. Yeah. So if you're in the Bowling Green area and you're there early for the competition, or if you're just out and about, come on by. You can go to dynamicdisc.com and see the flyer for it, or maybe on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Check out our Facebook page to know exactly the times. But yeah, definitely come out and join us and have some fun.
Yeah, and we're also hoping to have a couple of the new Ranger bag colors in that we'll be having up there. No guarantee yet; they're not here yet, but we're hoping for today or tomorrow. So we'll have a couple of those to bring out and show to everybody. And if somebody wants to buy some, we might sell a couple too.
Yeah, definitely. Nice. Come out and ask us about the new Ranger bag color, and we'll show it to you. And if we have them, we'll sell it to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the main reason we have Jeremy Rusco on here is that we want to talk about the Trilogy Challenge. And more specifically, hosting a Trilogy Challenge. We are just so excited to be running an event like this and allowing people the opportunity to grow the sport, the opportunity to raise money and stuff like that for their club or organization. But Rusco wanted to get on here and talk a little bit more about how you can host an event and some of the benefits of it.
Yeah, I think there's some confusion going on right now where players and tournament directors think that this is a dynamic discs only event, and we want to make sure that everybody knows that this is an event that anybody can host, whether you're experienced as a tournament director or whether you're just wanting to help grow the sport. This is a great opportunity to get disc golf more visible in your community. For $30, the players get 3 discs, which are 3 unreleased new molds from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64 and Westside. The Dynamic Discs mold is going to be the new Thief, which is I don't even know the exact speeds on it, but it's a kind of a fairway, a slightly overstable fairway driver. We've got the Latitude 64 Claymore, which is not with us just yet, but a mid-range disc that we should have soon. Unfortunately, it went off to Hawaii and back to Los Angeles, and apparently it'll be showing up on our door sometime soon. And then the Shield from Westside, another a new putter that a lot of players I think are going to really like, and we're just excited about those 3 discs. And in addition to that, players also get a player pack, which includes a couple other goodies I can't exactly remember, koozie, lanyard, mini, all kinds of good stuff. And then they basically just get to play. Well, it's up to the tournament director on how they want to host the event, but basically just a chance to get out and have fun, teach new people about disc golf, and there's a prize package as well that's included for whoever wins or whoever has the most fun, or however the tournament director wants to host it. So it's a really good opportunity, and we want the tournament directors, people hosting the tournaments, to know that we want to get more players involved. We want people to get out, so we're encouraging the players that are in the know to bring a friend, bring somebody who never played, and maybe just buy the players package just for them and walk with them and teach them and coach them, because that's what it's all about, is getting new people involved with the sport.
Absolutely. And the winner's pack actually includes the new Soldier disc golf bag that we're coming out with, so that's kind of exciting. And 9 discs altogether, I think the winner gets, and then a trophy, a print canvas trophy, and then a Trilogy Champion towel. So there's a lot going on for the winners of these events.
I was just going to add, I've noticed, I've posted a lot of times, the dates and everything going on, and I hear a lot of people comment on there and say, there's not one in my area. How do you suggest people go about, and if it is their first time to run an event, explain to them how easy it actually is to run it?
Well, really, you just got. You can check out trilogychallenge.com, and there's a lot of information on there that can help you out. You can register your event right there online, and essentially, really anybody can run it. But if you're not comfortable running an event, you surely know who in your community, who in your town would be comfortable running the event, and they just get registered for the event. And then the players packages are $21 for the tournament director, and that includes shipping. And then we encourage the resale to be at $30 to the players, which is an excellent value. $30 for 3 discs and all the other stuff that goes along with it is a great starter price. That's cheaper than a round of golf here in
Absolutely.
here in Emporia.
And not to mention 3 brand new discs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So. And yeah, I mean, just super easy to do. And it can help raise money for your club for course improvements. It can help raise money for an upcoming tournament. It can help raise money for you if you're a touring pro and want to, raise some money to help put some gas in the car. Really, whatever you want it to be, it can be for.
Nice, yeah. And I know that, like you said, you can use it to raise money for your club, for tournament or course improvements and things like that. And we even provide a flyer for you to download at trilogychallenge.com to help you advertise it. And there's a few suggestions. If you go to the FAQ, the frequently asked questions section, we actually kind of give you hints. You contact your local TV station, radio station to promote it. Now the minimum package I believe is for $25.
Yes.
But if you advertise this right, $25 is not a problem to get people out there for this kind of deal. So definitely for sure. So yeah, we encourage you guys, go out to trilogychallenge.com and check out more information. Now I made a special page on Disc Golf Answer Man. If you have any questions at all about how to run it, how to host it, any kind of help you need on running this event, all you got to do is submit a question, and either Eric will answer it, or we might have Jeremy back on and see if he can answer it for you. So just go to discgolfanswerman.com. You'll see a little button at the top where you can navigate and click on that and submit your question about running a Trilogy challenge for sure.
Yes.
Cool.
For sure.
All right. Well, I think that's it, Jeremy. I appreciate you having on. We're going to let you take care of business and run our awesome disc golf company.
You guys keep doing good things. Love the podcast, and for all the tuners, the guys are the viewers and tuner inners.
Tuner inners.
Keep up the good
Why don't
work.
you keep the podcasting to us? Yeah. So, all right. Thanks, Rusco. All right, he's going to take off, guys, and we're going to get set up so we can do the questions section. And just for the YouTube guys, we have the discs from the Trilogy Challenge, but Eric and I decided we're going to wait till the Claymore gets in.
Yes.
And then we're going to go into more detail about the flight, and we're going to go out and throw them before we do the show so we can talk more in depth about them. So don't worry, we'll talk about them on a future episode.
Yes.
All right, thanks everybody again for tuning into the YouTube. We're getting set up. Let me go ahead and turn his mic off there. You got it? All right. You want to grab those?
Got him.
All right, now it's back to me and Eric. All right, Eric, well, let's go ahead and jump into talking about some product.
Okay.
We got some new discs that we're excited about getting out there and get people to try.
About.
Yeah. And just to make sure everybody knows, okay, so the first one is the Scythe. Now, the people of Bowling Green, if you are playing in Bowling Green, you actually will get one of these courtesy of Latitude 64 in your players pack.
Yes.
So you'll get a chance to test it out and maybe even use it in the competition. But for everybody else, they will be available May 1st at your local disc golf retailer. So I know Eric has had a chance to throw it. In fact, we played around the other day and you were throwing it. So tell us a little about this disc.
I've been throwing it, and I've got one in my bag already.
No.
Because it is PDGA approved.
Yes, it is.
So I'm very excited about this disc. It's an overstable long-range driver. I'm not exactly sure the exact numbers on this disc just yet. I'm sure they're online somewhere.
I wonder if orange would be better.
Maybe.
Sorry, go ahead.
But it's more stable, and it's a lot faster than I thought it was going to be, just off of feel. It's got kind of almost a beveled edge there in the actual rim, and it's just really easy to grip. It feels really nice in the hand, and for me, it was similar to like a Giant from Westside.
Yeah, and I know you like your Giants.
I do love my Giants, and it's a little faster and a little longer than my Giants.
Oh, wow. So,
I mean, not that I want to kick my Giants out of my bag or anything, but you never know. So, the Scythe is it's going to be an amazing disc, very, very far and I can see a lot of the bigger arm players throwing this disc.
Now, for the people that are just listening and aren't watching the YouTube live, would you say it's a domey disc?
I wouldn't call it, too domey. It's
Yeah.
got a little pop on it, but for the most part, it's fairly flat. I would say it's pretty flat disc.
And the edge is, would you say it's more of a thin edge, or?
Definitely the flight plate itself is fairly thin. It's
Yeah.
not like stiletto thin,
Okay.
but it's thin, and it's got a somewhat big grip to it, so it's really easy to hold on to.
And would you say it would be more beneficial for maybe the big arm throwers, or?
Not necessarily the big arm throwers, but definitely anybody who can put it out there. I mean, 400 feet is quite a long ways, but if you're throwing villains and giants and you like your overstable discs, you're gonna love this one.
Awesome, nice. So guys, remember, make sure you're ready to get this. On May 1st, it'll be available from disc golf retailers, and if you're in Bowling Green competition, you will get first before everybody else.
Pretty cool.
From Latitude
Pretty
64.
Cool.
All right,
now on to something I'm very excited about. Here, why don't you take this
Yeah,
one?
that one might be easier.
It's
ready?
the Lucid Enforcer.
Wah wah.
Gonna be amazing. It's a Speed 12 Glide 4 Turn 0.5 in Fade 4.
Dang.
This thing is super fast, super far, super overstable. I mean, it's got it all. I've definitely got 3 or 4 in my bag right now, just mainly testing them out. And as of yesterday, this disc is PDGA approved.
Nay.
So
I don't know what I just made.
That's your goat, like a goat.
That was an excited goat. Nay.
However, they will not be available to the public until May 1st. It sounds like May 1st is going to be huge.
It's going to be a big month.
It's going to be huge. Yeah, I can't say enough about it. It doesn't have a huge rim on it, so it's fairly easy to grip if you have slightly smaller hands. This disc is not going to be thrown by very many beginners,
Okay.
unless they've got a massive sidearm or just a lot of arm speed and can put a lot of snap on the disc. It's
Nice.
very overstable. However, it is a great wind disc.
Nice.
I mean, I was out throwing it the other day in 30 to 40 mile an hour wind, and it would not phase it.
Nice.
I mean, it's a great complement to the Trespass. It's an overstable version of the Trespass. So, and I had somebody asking me the other day. They carry, the Scythe is what they're thinking they want to carry. They want to carry an Enforcer, and they also want to carry a Trespass. And they ask if there'd be too much overlap with the 3 discs.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
The Trespass is slightly understable for a bigger arm player, so that'll be more of your straight turnover driver, and then the Scythe can be more of your long range stable driver, and then your Enforcer will be your overstable driver.
Nice.
So
Okay, so again, for the audio people, what would we say about the dominess?
I would say it's got more of a dome than the Scythe does. It's
Okay.
got a little pop to it,
Uh-huh.
but it's not super domey like a Flow or a Giant or anything like that. So it's really good grip in the hand, and it actually comes out very smooth.
Oh.
So
And the edge is, well, obviously, because of the way he described, it's going to be that pretty thin edge.
yeah, very thin. Just overall great disc. I'm very excited about the Enforcer.
It feels nice, too.
Yeah, it's just something you just want to hold on to.
Nice.
Just
Cool. All right,
hold
guys.
it.
Well, again, the Dynamic Disc Enforcer will be available May 1st, so get ready for that.
May 1st.
May 1st.
May Day.
All right, cool.
May Day is going to be a huge day.
May Day.
It's Glass Blown Open time,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
which we have. How many people did we say this morning?
475 people signed up for the Glass
That's
Blown
a lot of people.
That's a lot of disc golfers.
Are you one of them?
Are you? I know that some people were concerned because their division, like the intermediate and things like that, were full. But a lot of people, the chatter is, you know what? If you play intermediate, this is one of those events that go ahead and play advanced
Mm-hmm.
because it is worth the experience. The block party, the poker night, the putting championship, and just
Players pack.
the players pack. And people are like, does anybody know what's in the players pack? Well, guess what? We don't like to say a lot because we love surprises, and trust me,
anticipation.
it's going to be worth it.
It's so
definitely
worth it. It's amazing.
But yeah, so if your division is full and you can play up a division, I say go for it because it'll be an experience you won't regret. And just the whole getting together with everybody and playing at the event, playing on a golf course, playing disc golf on the beautiful Emporia Country Club is awesome. So anyway, get
Not to
signed up.
mention, it's just the atmosphere and the fact that you get to pick your song that you tee off to at the,
Well, yeah, you get to pick your
country
song.
club. How cool is that?
And
no other courses do that.
Aren't we doing this disc in the? Oh no, we get the stamp.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying.
that's what you're thinking.
That's what I'm saying. Oopsie.
No.
Anyway,
I don't know what you're talking
I don't know
about.
what you're talking about. I do know that you get to stamp a disc.
You get
though.
to stamp a disc.
Yeah, you get to
at
hot
the DC.
stamp it. Yeah.
You get a tour.
I
of
don't
the
know what
DC.
disc it's going to be though.
No.
I have no idea.
No clue.
So,
Not sure.
I'm going to get fired. So anyway.
Back to the song.
Back to the song.
There's no other tournament that I've ever played that you get to pick a song, that there's a song playing. It's usually awkwardly quiet
Oh
when
yeah.
you're teeing off, but you get to pick a song.
You get to pick your song.
Whatever.
Everybody gets to pick a song.
Whatever song. If you want to tee off to Sanford and Son, you can
I
do
guess
that.
You could. Wah, 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 wah. I dare you.
It'll be. Oh,
What
I
song
will.
did you pick? Have you picked a song yet?
I haven't picked mine yet, but maybe I should put a poll out there and have people pick my song.
That would be kind of
Yeah.
cool. So, okay. All right, well, that's enough about the product and a glass blown open. Let's get on to the meat of the matter and talk about y'all's questions.
Let's do it.
All right, give me a second to pull it up. That's the wrong podcast.
The wrong podcast.
I was looking at Disc Golf Media Show. I need to do that.
Yeah. If you didn't know, Bobby runs a couple other.
Well, it's one other
Podcast.
one, Living the RV Life, with a podcast with my wife talking about getting into an RV and things like that. Okay, so let's move on to the questions.
Yes.
This question is from Michael, and Michael says, guys, love the show, always checking out all your videos. Always well done, especially like the tournament stuff with Eric's commentary overlaid. I like hearing a pro's approach to a round. And just a real quick thing on that, yeah, there's a couple that Eric and I have done, and he's done some commentary. And so if you want your perspective on any dynamic disc Dirty Dozen, if you want a pro's perspective on how he plays the course, definitely check out, because there's another one I'm going to put together, and we're going to do some more commentary.
Yes.
And Eric, now if you're the kind of guy and you'd rather just watch it and not have any commentary, I'm putting links in those videos, and you're able to click those links and see a no commentary version. Mm-hmm. So if you want that, there's that available for you as well. So anyway, back to the question. He says, I like hearing a pro's approach to a round. Whether is disc selection, mental aspect, or different line strategies players use. Okay, now to my question to the both of you. I am relatively new to the sport and wanted to know your approach to layering discs. I seem to lose discs long before they get too much wear to see a difference in flight. Do you have a strategy for wearing in discs sooner, or a different approach I could use that you could recommend? I feel like this would give me more consistency that would lead me to losing less plastic.
Yeah, that's never fun, losing plastic. Well, for me, how I do it is I find a disc that I like, my favorite driver, and I'll stock up and get 5 to 10 of them and have them. And if it's something overstable, like say the Enforcer, like right now I have 3 of those in my bag, and there's no need to have that many necessarily in your bag of a really overstable driver, but I have 3 in there, and I cycle them in and out. So I'm just constantly throwing. Like if it's just a fun casual round, I'll throw all 3 of them on a hole, and just trying to beat them in, and then you'll take them out, and then you'll put them aside, and that way if you do happen to lose one that's really beat in and really flies the way you want it to, you have a backup for it. So that's something that I'd recommend trying to do. It's a little harder for a lot of people I know to have to go out and buy 5 to 10
Right.
discs of whatever they like, but it's definitely something that pays off in the long run.
One thing you might do, and I think we've mentioned on another episode, was get misprints.
Misprints, yes.
So they're cheaper. There's nothing wrong with them. They just don't look nice, quite as nice as far as a stamp.
It's usually just a flaw in the stamp here or there, and so we just slap another one on it and
just sell it as a misprint. And you can get those, for pretty good price.
Pretty good. I think at tournaments in the RVs, they're only like $10 a piece.
$10 a piece. So
pretty good deal.
You can get a couple and then have the backups like you were talking about. Now this question brought up an interesting thing I saw quite a few years ago. Can't remember where I was at, but I was at a tournament and some guy was literally taking he had just bought a disc. He was throwing it on the ground, like literally like taking it and just throwing it down.
Beating it.
And someone said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm trying to beat it in."
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or?
It does if it's you need it right then and there.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily recommend physically beating in your disc. I prefer to wear it in because there's nothing better than having a disc for its whole life.
Right.
Where you first get it and it's stable and it flies great, and then slowly starts to get a little less stable, and it just has that predictable flight that you just can count on. There's nothing better than that.
And some people rely on that for it to kind of wear in and be the way they want it to be.
Yep.
So, okay, so next one is from Mike again. He says, great show. I am asking this question again because of the technical difficulty in episode 37. Yes, last episode we had some audio issues with the YouTube, so I deleted it. But he says, I'm new to disc golf. I'm a fairly athletic older player with a max distance of around 370 feet and then consistent 330 feet. What approach to disc selection would you guys recommend for max distance? Disking down or lighter, higher speed disc, or a mix of both?
Okay, I remember this question now. I think my reply to him was, there's nothing wrong with some lighter plastic.
Yeah.
Some of the air plastic I know, or the air trespass that we have, has won the distance contest at the Amateur World Championships last year. So that was kind of big. I can't remember the exact distance on it, like 470, 480 or something like that, from Corey Obermeyer, our stamper. And so I would definitely check out maybe some lighter plastic. I don't necessarily recommend going out and buying the latest and greatest fast discs if that's something you're trying to just get more distance with. However, the Latitude line does have the easy to use line.
Yes.
The Jade, the
Diamond,
the Pearl, and the
Ruby.
The Ruby.
Yep.
Those. And out of those, I would say if you're an experienced player, the Jade would probably be one of the better discs because it's going to be a little bit more stable than, say, the Diamond. The Diamond's more geared for straight-up beginners, I would say. And so those are a couple good ones. The Witness that we have is a very good one. And if these are too understable for you, you can club up a little bit and maybe try the Escape out or even the Trespass.
I'm liking my Escape. I'll be honest, when I first got the Escape, I wasn't thrilled about it.
Yeah.
But kind of you were talking about beating it in. As I used it and used it more and more, I really like my Escape.
Starting to like it a lot.
Yeah.
And you really like the Witness.
I really like the Witness and the Thief.
The Thief.
I like the Thief. So, all right. So the next question is from Barry, and Barry says, Bobby, first, thanks for taking pictures at Cedar Hill for AMS and posting them to Facebook. It gave me a chance to see that my eyes were closed during the drive. Nice. Well, He says, also sorry for throwing 3 feet above your head. Oh,
nice.
Yeah, I was sitting taking pictures. There was kind of a bit of a ditch off hole 15. Isn't that the one right by the RV throwing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was getting some shots of people throwing right at me and over my head. So it's all good. I know that it is comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So he says, Eric, I could tell that I am off on my throw, but don't know how to fix it. Can you tell by the picture what I might need to fix other than the obvious of opening my eyes? I'm the one with the white Australian hat. Thanks for all you do. Okay, maybe we have to come back to this one.
Yep. Now I will say that opening your eyes isn't, that's not going to necessarily help or hurt your shot process. If you look at some great players like Jay Redding, he doesn't even look where he's throwing.
Yeah.
He looks at some still shots of him. So, but yeah, this is probably something I'm going to have to come physically see the picture before I can comment.
Then maybe we'll post it on the Facebook group.
Yeah, maybe we'll just post a picture of it and then I can
critique
do a
it.
little write-up on it there.
Little maybe 3-page, no spaces. 3-page, no space report.
Double space.
No spaces.
Dang it.
Okay. All right, the next one is from Jack, and Jack says, hey guys, thanks for doing this every week. My question is this. I drive about 350 feet with my distance drivers, the Renegade, Trespass, and Escape. too fast for a fairway for me. Too fast for a fairway for me. I can get my truth really close to 300 feet, generally 250 to 280. I'm currently trying to work on getting my putters to 275 to 300 feet range, and mid-range is up to 300 feet or so. What things should I look for when practicing and work on most to get my desired results and in turn get the most out of my discs?
Well, basically, something to look for is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out there throwing your trespass, your escape, and your renegade, it's all about, if you're consistently throwing the same distance and they're consistently landing in the same areas. That's something to definitely look for. It's a matter of the best place to get out for me is like a practice football field, because typically they have the lines down so you know how far you're throwing. It's not that important to unless you're out there just strictly working on distance, which is kind of what it sounds like he wants, is a little more distance out of his discs.
Yeah.
And the truth does go far. It will reach up to 300 and even further for some players.
Wow.
And that's mainly just because of the way the wing is on it. But I would recommend just getting out there and seeing if your trespasses and your escapes are all flying in the similar flight patterns and landing in somewhat the same places, and then you can work on more form and more power and more spin for more distance.
Cool. All right, the next one is from Joel, and Joel said, based on Eric's advice, I picked up a harp while in my local store today, and I've got to say I love it. I played 18 holes at a short 9-hole nearby using only that one disc and was able to shoot within 2 to 3 strokes of what I shoot with my full bag.
Nice.
And my question is, do you have any idea how long it will be until we're able to get the harp in a premium plastic? While I like the soft material for upshots, I prefer to get a VIP or TP one for driving so it won't lose its stability anytime soon. Thanks for taking my question. Love the show.
Cool.
And just in case people, the harp is a West Side disc that just came out recently, and it's in BT Soft. And when he says the VIP or TP plastic, that actually applies to Latitude's line. No, West Side does.
It's West Side's line.
So it's just a different, and TP stands for Tournament Plastic.
Tournament plastic and VIP plastic, which is like the Opto and the Goldline,
Right.
or the Lucid and the Fusion. As far as when it's coming out, I think I remember hearing someone tell me that this month they're running some of those. So I don't have the exact date. I do know it should be before summer.
Yeah.
That we'll be seeing those, and I for one am very excited to get a TP or a VIP harp. I think that's going to be a phenomenal upshot over stable disc.
Yeah, and I know that the guy, who is it that does West Side? What's his
Yanni.
name? Yanni. He's pretty responsive to what people like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and not to mention he will be at the Glassbone Open, so maybe we can ask him that question.
Maybe Joel, you can ask him.
Yes.
Run
Come
up
to the
him and ask
Glassbone
him.
Open.
Yeah. All right, the next one is from Matthias, and Matthias says, "Hey, Bobby and Eric, great show last week, and thanks for the answers." Well, you're welcome. Eric, Eric, you talked in former episodes about field work. How do you train approach shots on the field?
That's a good question. For me, I don't do a whole lot of approach practice in the field, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm fortunate enough to have the middle school course right here in town and go over there and actually play that course because it's short enough and it's mostly approach shots that I'll be throwing from the tees out there. So that's how I work on a lot of my approach game. Something I recommend is something I actually saw Denise doing at the course, which really helped her game and her approach game, is when we were playing around, she was out there, just took her putters and her mids and was throwing objects. Just stepping up and throwing towards a tree, or after we threw our drive, she would walk down with us and then throw her shots from one of our tee shots or somewhere on the course. And you don't even need to throw it at baskets. Just throw it if you see a tree, a sign. Baskets work great, but you don't necessarily need that.
And that'll help beat them in too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think obviously I totally agree with you. But yeah, I noticed Denise was doing that. But to me, it's the deliberate practicing of that.
Mm-hmm.
You go out and you throw a casual round, you're out with your buddies, that's all good. I mean, that gets you out and practicing, but to go out and just to deliberately only throw your mids or your putts to work on your approach shots, and in other words, and then make mental notes. Oh, that threw like this. When I threw it this hard, it did this.
Yep.
So deliberately going out there.
Fill your bag with them. Take all your drivers out and just put your mids and putters in there, and
There you go.
and go out and throw.
All right, the next one is from Jeff, and Jeff says, in order to make it through this brutal winter, I found myself turning to YouTube and watching hours of disc golf videos. I hope some of that was at Dynamic Discs, youtube.com/Dynamic Discs. Most of the videos are highlights or lead card footage or coverage, which makes the game appear super easy. I know it can't always be that easy out there for the pros. Eric, can you think of a hole you have played since you turned pro that was a total blow-up? Where was it? What was the score? And does it haunt you? And then he says, insert ghost noise. Ooh. Thanks for the great show and keep it up. So tell us about a hole where you just totally blew it.
Well, I've been fortunate enough in my years of playing that I haven't had really a huge blow-up hole. I've been, good enough to keep my head on my shoulders if I have a bad tee shot on the hole and continue. I don't recall ever, maybe at USDGC when you're taking something more than an 8, but I really honestly don't remember taking anything more than 8 on a hole. But it's definitely daunting, and it would probably be at USDGC would be the course where I would have a blow-up hole and just have something to where it's just rough, But yeah, for the most part, here's one. To start off my year in 2013, last year, hole 1 at LL Woods, the first time throwing Trilogy plastic, first tournament of the year, let's do this. If you don't know, hole 1 at LL Woods is probably 200 feet, if that, and there's a sidewalk behind it, and we were still all learning the new plastic and having a good time. And I threw a little long, OB, and then my putt ramped off the basket and rolled, and then I missed the comeback. So I took a 5 on a hole that if you walk away from not 2 and you're in a pretty sour mood.
Yeah.
So that's probably a blow-up hole, I would say, to start my year last year, which wasn't that much fun.
And to me, and like you said, you try to maintain the mental aspect, and that's a huge part, and not a minor mistake or a mishap hitting a tree doesn't turn into a blow up.
Yeah,
because you maintain your composure.
Absolutely.
All right, the next one is from Tom, also known as Bubs. He says, "Hey there, Bobby and EMAC. First and foremost, I have to say that I love the show." Well, thanks. I cannot express how stoked I am when I log on to the website discgolfanswerman.com and see that there is a new episode posted. Totally makes my day. Well, that's awesome.
Nice,
that makes my day. So then, I have a question about snap and how it relates to the position of the wrist hand at various stages of the proper driving form. More specifically, when the disc is at your chest. I'm a lefty, by the way, so I'll try to explain my question in a hand-neutral manner, but please forgive me if I slip up. I'm used to having to mirror flip most things. Anyways, so for the sake of illustration reference, let's say that the top of the disc is a clock. And when you look straight down, the number 12 is pointing away from you. And the number 6 is pointing towards your chest. At the moment where the disc is crossing your chest, where should you be holding the disc or have your wrist turned? I have noticed that when I pay attention to my drive, which is not where I want it to be yet, so I'm always looking to improve, I'm holding the disc at 12 o'clock. Would I be able to get more snap if I tried to have my hand wrist at or near 3 o'clock/9 o'clock? 3 for lefties like me, 9 for righties. Oh, that all makes sense. If not, I'm sorry for the confusion. Sorry as well for the novel. Thanks again, guys. Keep up the great work. Bubs.
Hey. Yeah, it makes sense to me. I know exactly what he's saying. He's talking about like 12 o'clock being, straight on, like no wrist cock at all.
Yeah.
So for me, you don't necessarily want too much of a wrist roll because you're just going to create lots of shanks.
Yeah.
Too much. So for me, yeah, the 3 o'clock/9 o'clock is a pretty good number to try to hit. And yeah, it is definitely as you're pulling through is when you want to spin and put the snap through the wrist to pull out through the fingers and create that snap.
Yeah.
So definitely you don't want too much, but you don't want too little. So somewhere a fine medium, whichever is really, good for you, suitable for you, is what I would recommend.
Yeah, and based on some of the questions we've got in the past episode, I've actually watched that with people. You when I'm filming, and then at other tournaments. And you're right. I mean, there is a little bit of a turn to it, so that when it comes out, it has more spin to it. So I think that's important. But I will warn you, Bubs, that it is frustrating the practice, because I'm in that boat. Because every time I try it, to say in my mind I'm going to put more spin on it, it always goes off to the right, and I get so frustrated. So I need to practice that myself.
Yes.
All right, so the next one is from Nick. Nick says, this question is for the both of you. Of all the discs in your bag, which one do you use the least? I asked this on the Trilogy Facebook page, and the disc mentioned more than any other was the Saint Pro. This also has turned out to be true for me. So as of this morning, it has been taken out. Aww. Just in case you guys don't know, the Trilogy Facebook page is actually a Facebook page called
Latitude 64 West Side Discs
and Dynamic Discs
fan page.
So if you want to look for it on Facebook, just put in the search bar, put those Latitude 64 West Side and Dynamic Discs fan page. So what would you say is your least used disc?
Without a doubt, the Stiletto.
Oh.
It's mainly in there for huge spike hyzers. Don't need to necessarily go that far, or if it's a 40 to 50 mile an hour wind day. So, I'll go rounds without throwing that disc.
Yeah.
It'll just stay in there. But then you come up to a hole where you need it, or the wind picks up and you need it, then you're happy to have it there. The Saint Pro is close second for me probably, but it's mainly on a course, depending on what kind of course I'm playing. So I'll put discs in and out of my bag based on the course that I'm playing. So if it's a tightly wooded course, I'm going to put some more or less stable discs in there for hyzer flips, because it's a lot easier through the woods doing hyzer flipping than it is throwing something really overstable.
Nice.
So what about you? What's the
For
least
me,
thrown disc in your bag?
It would have to be my Bolt.
Bolt.
I got it when we first started switching all our discs, and I wanted to try it out, and I didn't like it. But now I use it when I really need it to go over like a tree, and I want to throw it really high and do a nice spike hyzer. When I know it's got to come back left.
Yeah.
And then even sometimes, now I'm probably got to get used to it, but sometimes in a flick when I need it to really turn back and go where I want it to go. So, but I hardly ever use it, but I have used it for certain shots.
Nice.
All right, the next one is from Hector. And Hector says, Bobby, it was nice to meet you at Cedar Hill, and the copter was awesome. Well, it was nice meeting you too, Hector. Thanks, everybody. I know sometimes when Eric and I are at tournaments, people come up and introduce themselves, and I think it's awesome when you guys do that.
Absolutely.
And so he's talking about the quadcopter that I got that I used for some aerial shots. He said, I think it needs a stealth mode so you can use it during live play.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, my not so much a question but a request. In the last episode, you mentioned recording the throw lines for GBO. Will you also do the left-hand thrower lines also, or do you feel you will just record the best line that Eric and you see, and all as players should adjust accordingly? Guess that turned into a question after all. Love the show. Any hints on GBO player pack?
Yeah, there was already kind of one of those.
Shh.
Oh.
Anyways. So yeah, but no. Other than that, actually, we don't know much about the players pack. So, as far as the recording the different lines, yeah, I don't know that we're going to be able to show every line that you could use. We were out the other day, and I was practicing with the quadcopter, and we shot 4 holes. And one of the holes was over a pond. And if you wanted to say that I was nervous, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
I was flying it over the quadcopter over the pond, and I was very nervous. But I think I got some good shots. But we noticed that the tilt of the camera was tilted down too much. So next time I need to tilt it up a little bit more so you see a better overall view. So
yeah.
I think what it's going to be is just a straight flight from the tee pad to the basket, and you're just going to be able to see the obstacles that are in the way.
Yeah, which I agree with that. It's not. I mean, it's a great idea to be able to go out and have the copter fly down the actual flight pattern that you're going to take. But it has such a wide lens on it, that's really not that necessary when you can
Right.
just fly right down the middle and, get the aspect of the hole, and you'll be able to tell, okay, well, as a lefty, I'm going to be able to throw this Anheuser line or this big hyzer line or something along those. And the good thing about the Emporia courses is it's not really righty friendly and it's not really lefty friendly, because
Right.
it's more of an open park style golf. So there's kind of lines, there's multiple lines, ways to get to the pin.
Right. And it would be kind of hard to guess every line that someone would take.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you traveled for a tournament and all of a sudden a local throws something and you're like, oh, is that the local route?
We're not going to show the local lines.
Yeah. So, so you never know. I mean, there may be a hole somewhere that you didn't think about, but the guy that plays it every week at leagues or something like that.
And there's probably a good chance that we won't get every single hole either. We're going to get as many as we can. We're going to get most of the signature holes and yeah.
Yeah, so eventually we'll get all the holes, but maybe not right out the box.
Not before GBO.
Not before GBO. All right, the next question is from John, and John says, listening to your latest podcast, and he loves it.
All right.
Sorry, he put all caps. You were talking about the Japan Open. The Japan Open isn't a yearly event, at least for the PDGA, and the payout isn't big. Why hasn't Canada had a major? In Canada, the tier A and B events are bigger than Japan. Pro purses are larger, and after you remove the top players like Jenkins, Felberg, Macbeth, Wysocki, etc., the overall field is much deeper and more quality players. Yet Canada never gets a PDGA major. Why doesn't Canada get the respect it deserves for being the second largest disc golfing nation?
Yeah.
Actually, I think he sent in and he actually answered his own question.
Well, while you're searching for that, I'll add, I love Canada. I love going up there. I play the Canadian Championships every year up in Kamloops. Well, every other year now. I guess they've kind of gone from A tier, and then they kind of go not against Japan, but every other year. So the Japan's this year. Next year it'll be back to Kamloops A tier. And you're absolutely right. The payout for that event is phenomenal. And I honestly don't know why more top players don't go up there. I've been traveling up there myself for, this would be my third time going up there. And the people are simply amazing. I love every single person I've met up there. Quality events. And I honestly think people go to Japan and treat it like such a great event is the nostalgia factor of traveling to Japan to play in a disc golf tournament. The experience is just mind-blowing almost, to travel clear across country, or the world, rather, to play in a disc golf event. And I encourage many people, every time I talk to them, what's the one event they need to be hitting, and that's the Canadian Championships.
Nice. I thought John had sent in something explaining, I think he had done some research, but maybe it was an email or something. So I'm sorry about that, John, if you did. I can't seem to find it. I'm
all for Canada hosting a national tour or a major or something along those lines. I guess it wouldn't be a national tour.
No.
But maybe a major. I'd be all for that.
That'd be nice. So, the next question is from Dr. Blam. Now,
Blam.
I want to say something real quick. On the Facebook group, Dr. Blam posted that other people were impersonating him with questions. Now, I'm not going to get on here and be all Mr. Parent and tell you guys what to do, but really, guys, just put your own name. It's really not a big deal.
Come up with your own Dr. Blam name.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper or something. I don't know.
Dr.
But anyway,
Pepper?
Let's not impersonate other people. But anyway, no big deal. So this is from a Dr. Blam. I don't know if it's the Dr. Blam. It says, EMAC, during the X step, the last step, the planning step, is it important to extend as far as possible during this step?
I wouldn't say extend as far as possible. You want to keep it, more shoulder length apart, I think, and picture it as like a crow hop, like in baseball.
Oh, okay.
Like a outfielder fields the ball and they kind of do a little crow hop to throw the ball in, and picture it more like that. The wider you get, the less power you're going to get.
Oh.
So being more impact, and you don't necessarily need a huge huge wind up, but not over far. Am I making sense to you?
so,
It's
yeah.
kind of hard to explain. More like my last step is probably 2 to 3 feet.
Okay.
So it's definitely not. I have more power impacted than it does stretching everything out.
I got you. And I'll be honest with you, when you said the crow hop, the first thing I thought of was the movie The Crow. And I was trying to think, was there something in there from that movie?
The movie The Crow?
Sorry.
With that one guy?
With Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee. Didn't he die in that movie?
Did he? I think he died.
During the movie.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
In a stunt. And a lot of people were saying conspiracy. It was like a curse on their family or something.
Oh, no.
We could do a whole other podcast on that.
On Bruce Lee?
On Bruce Lee.
On the Lees.
On the Lees. Bruce Lee is awesome, though.
Oh, yeah.
I love
He's no Chuck Norris, but...
I'm sorry?
I went there.
Oh, you did
I went there. I did.
Oh, no. Bruce Lee would whip his butt.
I don't know.
I'm sorry,
Walker,
Ginger.
Texas Ranger.
Oh, no.
Walker,
Have
Texas
you watched a
Ranger.
Bruce Lee movie?
Have you watched anything with Walker?
You mean where he stops the chainsaw?
Absolutely. Come on, that's so awesome.
Anyway, okay, sorry, guys. Sorry about that. We're going to have to do like a Bruce Lee Chuck Norris thing next time. Because, yeah, Bruce Lee would whip up. Okay, so the next question is from Dan. And Dan says, hey, guys, love the show. Have a few questions. Bobby, how did you get the name CDSB? All right, we'll go with that first question. Okay. CDSB stands for Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. And a few people don't like the name, and I'm cool with that. They think it's silly or goofy, you know what? But you know what? You remember it. When I was in high school, I remember we were sitting around, and it was like movie day or something like that. So of course, all we did was talk. And some of the guys were hanging out, and you know how guys are when they hang out. They make fun of each other. They call each other stupid names, stuff like that. Well, somebody said something sarcastic, and I said, "What are you, some kind of cool daddy slick breeze?" And everybody was just kind of like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" And we kind of laughed at it, and I never really said anything about it again. But when it came time to figure out a name, when I said I was going to try to do this whole video production thing, I tried to come up with different names, and I had different names that I wanted to come up with. And some reason, Cool Daddy Slick Breeze came back up. And, of course, nobody owned CoolDaddySlickBreeze.com.
Yeah.
So that was easy
to
get that. Yeah, that's surprising.
I'm shocked.
And so I tried it out, and I told people when I first started doing photography and video, and a lot of people liked it. And so I said, you know what, that's going to be the name, Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. So
CDSB.
CDSB. So that's the story behind that. If you don't like it, I don't know what you can do, but I'm not going to change it. All right, so he goes on. He says, EMAC, I am currently transitioning from every disc manufacturer to all Trilogy, but I'm finding some discs that I can't find a replacement for. I mainly throw TLs. Oh, that is the thing. TLs. I thought it was this. I mainly throw TLs, Rock 3s, broken in Pro Destroyers, and Buzzes. I have very little arm speed and throw lighter weights, 165 to 170. What do you suggest?
I would suggest, well, the Rock 3s, the Mace is very similar in feel, at least. It's a mid-range that has a large bead on it. And it probably flies similar to like a Wasp or a Rock 3 in the Champion plastic. So I would recommend getting an Opto Mace for that. Your TLs, that's probably one of the harder discs to replace, but I would recommend maybe a River or a Saint or an Escape. One of those slightly understable fairway drivers that flies pretty straight. And your Broken in Destroyers, that's pretty easy. That's a Trespass. That's pretty much how that disc flies.
Yeah.
And you can get those in very light plastic, so that's good for something that you're looking for. And as far as the Buzz goes, there's a handful of mid-ranges out there that would probably suit your needs, but I'm going to have to go with
the Truth.
Yes.
And nothing but the Truth.
It's great. It's going to be a little longer and probably a hair faster than the Buzz, but overall, it's a pretty easy transition.
Yeah, and I know, guys, we have fun with it, and we, promote Truth because, of course, it's Eric's signature disc. It's one that he helped come about and make and things like that. But honestly, I talk to a lot of people or out and about in the tournaments, and people really do love the Truth. It is a very good, versatile disc, and it's a definite must-to-have in your bag for sure.
Yes.
And then he, let's see, ends the question with, we need some 2-disc challenges, a DDRV, cdsb, and emac presence. Oh, he wants us to,
No, the Twin Cities.
finally, when are you guys coming up to the Twin Cities next? We need some 2-disc challenges and DDRV, cdsb, and emac presence. Thanks. And keep
That
up
would
the
be
good work.
amazing. I love the Twin Cities. There's some great golf up there. And as far as making the trip up there, it's, oh man, schedules are just so crazy right now. I know Steve-O with Chasing the Chains RV is constantly on the road full time. I think he's in Texas right now, so that's good. He's at least home for a couple weeks and before he heads back out, and I'm not sure where he's headed, but Chasing the Chains would be the place to go to hit up and put in a request, so to speak.
Nice.
For us to come to your city, and I would be more than happy to. I love that area. Maybe not this time of year, but
no, not this time of the year. But I will give a suggestion. If you want a little taste of dynamic discs in your area, head out to trilogychallenge.com.
Yes.
And Dan hosts your own Trilogy Challenge, where you'll get 3 Trilogy discs that will be unreleased until the Trilogy Challenge, of course.
Yes.
But,
3 great discs.
3 great discs.
2 of them I've thrown.
Yes, 2 of them are thrown. The Claymore from Latitude we haven't even received yet, so when we get those out, we're going to throw those. But definitely check out trilogychallenge.com, and you'll get a little bit of the flavor of DD there with giving away prizes and things like that. So highly encourage people to do that. All right, the next one is from Alex, and Alex says, this is a follow-up question. Oh, the other day concerning why
Canada. Yeah, there you
That's
go.
really weird. Did I read that on the...
No.
How did that... That's weird. It's from somebody else. Okay, I'm just going to go with it.
What?
The other one was Joe, and this one's from Alex.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm confused. Okay, anyway. He said, this is a follow-up question I asked the other day concerning why Canada, the second largest disc country, never has a major. After a bit of research and curiosity, I found out that Canada is essentially disqualified from hosting any PDGA majors. On the PDGA website, if you download the document PDGA International Major Event Bid Guidelines in section 1.4 under the paragraph International Major Events, it states, 3 or more day-long events held outside of the USA. Typically, 1 or 2 of these events are held each year. Ideally, there will be 1 in Europe and 1 in Asia, Oceania per year. From this statement, it seems to state that the PDGA wants majors to be in the U.S., Europe, and Asia, which leaves Canada out of the competition. Although Canada did hold Worlds in Toronto many, many years ago, it is doubtful they will see it again anytime soon. Sorry for the original question, and hopefully it will be pulled before the show. No, it did not get pulled.
It did not.
That's
I
cool.
answered it, and that's bizarre to me. That really is.
I think we have some connections where we can actually maybe ask somebody.
Yes.
And maybe get an answer from...
Get a flat-out answer on that, because there's some great courses up in Canada, and I personally would love to see.
Maybe it's a misconception. Maybe they can have. So we're gonna get the answer for you for sure from some peeps we know.
Some peeps.
Okay, so Matthias, this next question from Matthias, and he says, hey, Bobby and Eric, I have a second question for you. What exactly is the hybrid plastic? Is it like biofusion, a cross between 2 plastics? And is it more stable than Lucid or Fusion? Thanks, and keep up the good work.
Hybrid plastic is usually what we get in blanks, and it's what we use for some of our Dymaxing. And it's not necessarily Fusion or biofusion or anything like that. It's closer to Lucid plastic.
Okay.
It's closer to the Lucid or the Opto line, one of those two, and it's essentially that plastic. It's just white, and it's a little see-through almost. It's kind of like the Fusion, but see-through.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard to explain, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's more stable. I think it flies pretty close to the Lucid line does. So.
All right, the next one is... Oh, that one went in twice. All right, the next one is from Taylor, and Taylor says, practicing disc golf is an anomaly to me. All other sports seem to have some sort of practice drills that focus on one very specific motion. For example, there are tons of drills for baseball to improve the timing of your batting motion. Whenever I ask this question or read a forum about disc golf drills, the response is always field time. Learn how your discs fly. But what are some drills other than field time that you guys or other people you know do to hone their skills?
Games.
Whoa, you just dropped it down like that.
Games.
Games.
Just games.
All right, the next question. What do you mean games?
Well, what I mean by that is, getting your buddies together and going out and playing 21 putting games or upshot games or make your own games. Make it fun. Make it fun, and then you'll be practicing, and you won't even know you're practicing. I know a lot of people are gifted enough to go out and just play rounds of disc golf, and that's good enough practice to them, which to an extent that works, but that just gets you good on that particular course. So, you really do need to go out and work in the field and throwing up shots and throwing drives and throwing putts. But a way to do it to make it to where you don't feel like you're necessarily practicing is make it fun.
Mm-hmm.
And make up your own game. And maybe share those on our page. Get more and more people involved.
Yeah, I mean, I would say as far as like drills, I mean, you have football drills, I remember, and you basically were just repeating things over and over so that repetition so that it became second nature, so that when a certain play happened, you didn't have to think, do I need to go left or right? You just automatically knew because it was so drilled into your head what you're supposed to do when something happens. So, like you said, playing a game, a putting game, is you just constantly putting and putting. Putt from 5 feet out, 10 feet out, 15 feet out, 20 feet out, and then go back to that. Play a game play a game of horse, like you would with basketball. But in a sense, I know it sounds weird, but what you're doing is you're repeating the action, and it's becoming muscle memory. It's becoming ingrained in your head. This is what it feels like when I putt and when I make it. This is what I'm looking at when I putt and I make it. This is the chain I'm looking at, the link I'm looking at. This is the
thing.
Follow through every time I'm opening my hand for the follow through.
And when you have that putt for the win against your buddy in a game of horse, it translates into if you have a putt for a nice hot round or a putt to win a tournament. It all coincides each other,
Yep. All right. The next question is from Jason. Jason says, my question is for anyone who can tell me what is the format going to be on July 12th. Don't be cruel to us. We actually hadn't said anything.
What's July 12th?
July 12th. We're going to take a second to explain. If you haven't seen on our Instagram or our Facebook page the amazing news that we shared, we're going to break it down for our YouTube viewers and our podcast listeners. On July 12th, we are going to hold an event at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas.
Also known
as the place where the Dallas Cowboys play.
Yes. Or where the Final Four just happened.
Or where the Final Four just happened. So yes, in a football stadium, we will be playing disc golf. Now, as far as exactly what we're going to be doing, we are working out the logistics for all of it. I know that people have all kinds of ideas of what we're going to do, and there are some restrictions of what we can and can't do.
Yes.
So right now they have the basketball layout, obviously, because they just played the Final Four there, the championship and all that, and so they're going to lay everything out back to more of the turf and the stadium and the football and everything like that. Once that's there, that'll help us figure out what all we're going to do. So all I can say is mark down July 12th. Figure out how to get there because it's going to be an amazing event.
And stay tuned.
And stay tuned to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anything like that. Because as soon as we get some things ironed out, we'll definitely let people know. But this is going to be huge for disc golf for sure.
It's going to be so much fun. I'm beyond excited about this event.
I'm going to have like 50 cameras everywhere.
Oh, man.
All right, so the next one is from Matt, and Matt says, I started playing disc golf in April 2003 when my father-in-law and brother-in-law took me out to play. I've been hooked ever since. That's usually how it happens.
Yeah, 2013?
Yeah, and got about 7 of my friends and family hooked to disc golf as well. All 10 of us, my 2 in-laws, me and my 7 friends and family, play together weekly and get along well. We ended up making a club out of our group and have a weekly bag tag challenge. That's awesome.
Nice.
The tags are complete with our logo that we designed. Our members' weekly scores range from 8 down to plus 20, with most of us right around even. We don't have dues and mainly communicate through our club's Facebook group page. We only have 2 rules, no smoking or littering on the course. All of us are happy to follow these rules, but as outside people have inquired about joining, We had to deny them because they wanted to smoke on the course. We live in a dry area, and the courses are grass and sagebrush, so smoking is a big no-no. Am I doing the right thing, sticking to our 2 simple rules and not allowing good disc golfers to join because they want to be able to light up on the course? P.S. There are 2 other bigger clubs in my area for people to join, so it's not like we are the only show in town. Interesting question.
Yeah. Well, personally, I would say that, you know, I don't think you're in the wrong by turning people away, you know, especially with there being other options for them to come out and play. Now, if you were the only option in town, maybe that would be a little different, but I understand completely that, you know, wherever you're located is sagebrush, grass, and probably wildfires. And I understand completely that, you know, if it's your rules, it's your club, it's your group, you know, you gotta abide by those rules. It's no different than the PDGA majors, or is it just PDGA majors? You're not allowed to smoke there as well. You know, there's stations set up for smoking, but you're not allowed to smoke during the actual competition. Right. So I think you're fine. I don't think you're in the wrong at all, especially when it's, you know, your family and, you know, it's more of a fun get-together and about growing the sport in a positive way.
Right. So, and I agree. Like Eric said, it's your club that you created. You can create your rules and bylaws and things like that you must abide by to be in your club. And, you know, be tactful. If someone comes up and say they want to join your club and you tell them the rules and they say we don't like your rules, you say, well, that's okay. These are our rules. There's 2 other clubs that you're more than happy to join. So I don't think it's a big deal. All right, the next one is from Lunchbox. And Lunchbox says, Bobby and EMAC, love the show as always. I can only muster between 200 to 250 feet off the tee when driving. I've slowly gotten better thanks to the easy-to-use line you guys talk about. Awesome.
Nice.
My upshots always seem to come up a little short and outside my putting range. Is my problem not getting enough distance off the tee, or is it more important to improve my upshots, or is it all of the above? I don't know what to do. Help me, Obi-Wan.
You're my only hope.
You're my only hope.
It kind of depends on the course you're playing, I guess, but I would definitely maybe club up in those instances that you're coming up way short on your upshots. There's nothing wrong with throwing a driver, throwing your jade, you know, as your approach disc into the green. It's just a matter of personal preference, honestly. And if you're throwing your mids and you're coming up way short, there's no reason why you can't ease off a driver a little bit, and if it's out of your distance control.
And I think it's cool that he mentioned that easy to use, because we do talk about that. And that's we mentioned in a question before, the Latitude 64. They have the Jade, the Ruby, the Diamond, and the Pearl, and so two drivers, a mid, and a putter, right?
That is right.
And basically, Tomas, when he designed those, he had in mind beginners and people with slower arm speeds, or even had women in mind, because of the way he designed the rim and everything was based
very easy to hold,
very easy to hold, and very easy
most
to
of them
throw.
are light as well, 150 class. So
okay, so that's it for all the questions. One of the things I wanted to mention that we didn't get to at the beginning, so if you guys are holding on, I appreciate that, but I wanted to apologize. Last episode, I went through and I edited, and then I listened to the episode, because I like to listen to it to make sure the audio levels are good and things like that, is that I left some dead space in there.
Dead space?
About 20 seconds of dead space.
Wow.
When we discovered the audio went out on the YouTube,
yeah.
There was dead space, and you could hear us talking about what was going on. I apologize, guys, for that. That bugged me to no end, but of course,
he lost sleep over
when it was over there. It really bugged me.
I know.
I don't like stuff like that, so I apologize for that, and we'll work harder to make sure that stuff like that doesn't end up in the show. And I think this particular podcast is doing good, because we have about 31 to 35 viewers that keeps bouncing up and down. So it seems that the audio is working. Another thing I wanted to mention is the podcast. There's a bill from the local. Oh, in fact, if you like listening to disc golf podcasts and you want more, there's actually quite a few other podcasts out there, about 4 or 5. But one that I discovered when I first discovered disc golf podcast was called The Local Route, from Bill Heddle and Mike Solt, Mr. Disc Golf. And anyway, they were kind enough to have me on as a guest and interview. Now, they've had Eric on there quite a few times, but they asked me to be on there to kind of talk about Cool Daddy Slick Breeze and plans with Dynamic Disc as far as media. So definitely go to iTunes or Stitcher or go to their site, thelocalroute.com, or I think it's localroutediscgolf.com. But anyway, you can search for that, and you can see that interview of me on there. But Bill actually messaged us on Facebook and talked about a patent troll that's going on. And what is happening is that, and if you're new to podcast, you'll see that you can download all kinds of podcasts on iTunes. But if you listen to a lot of podcasts, I have about 10 or 11 podcasts that I listen to. And something that's going on is podcasts have been around for quite a few years, but some company has come along and is suing bigger name podcast people because they're saying that they own the patent to podcasting. The mechanism and the way of doing a podcast, they say that they have a patent on it. And they're what people call patent trolls, meaning they see something that's happening and they are gambling that it's going to be a big deal, and so they try to get a patent on it, on a technique or something that's going out there, and they try to get a patent, and the patent offices are so swamped that they don't look at the finer details, like the fact that podcasts have been out for years, and all of a sudden someone comes along and said, hey, it was our idea to do a podcast. So they get a patent, and then they wait a little bit, and then they come back and they try to sue people for money, saying we own the patent and you have to pay us royalties because you're using a technology that we patent. So I'm going to put some links. If you're a big supporter of podcasting, I'm going to put some links out on the blog post for this episode, so you can kind of check into it and read more about it. So I told Bill we would talk about that a little bit. Let's see. I think that's all I have. I'm going to actually go out.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy
how people do that, but it's just weird. So I'm going to go out for the YouTube listeners to see if there's any questions out there on this episode. So bear with me, YouTube viewers. And is it going to let me see? There's episode 38. Don't play.
Doomed.
Okay, we have some comments. Let's see if people have any questions. Yeah, Jeff says, I can hear you. Thank you. Audio is fine. Nice. I'm going to tell everyone you're live. Let's see what happens. Oh, nice. Thanks, Hucka, for sharing the word. Hucka forgot to make Java. I hope you got that Java going. Okay, so here we go. Hi, long-time listener, first-time question. My question is for Rusco. Oh, he had a question for is there any plans, or do you have ambitions to have manufacturing move stateside? It would be cool to see made in the U.S. on the bottom of your discs. We'll keep that as a Rusco question, yes, and maybe he can answer that sometime. DG Weekly says, sounds similar to a World. Can't wait to try one. I wonder if he's talking about the Scythe.
Probably, I would say the Scythe.
The Scythe, yeah. Would you say it's like a World?
I think it's a more overstable, more predictable World. I have thrown the World a bunch, and I actually took the World out of my bag because anytime it got windy, it got unpredictable for me.
Oh, wow.
But maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
You know. So, but yeah, definitely I think it's a more stable version.
And you kind of went into it when you described the Enforcer, but someone says, how does the Scythe compare to the Enforcer?
Just a little bit further, I would say, maybe. The Enforcer is definitely more overstable, a lot more overstable, actually. And so very similar in flight, just possibly a hair further.
Cool. Let's see. Are you trying to put in new T-pads in town due to trees getting cut down and dying?
Yes. There's that's here in Emporia. There's definitely been some trees that have fallen, and it's not just that. We also just want to keep the upkeep on the course and make sure it's challenging, and as new discs come out, we need to make the course playable, especially for Glass Blown Open, an event that brings in top players. So we want to offer top-notch best courses that we can offer, and a lot of it does come from trees that have died or fallen, and trees that the city had to take out for safety's sake, and it just leaves the hole wide open. So I think there's only 2 or 3 tee pads that we're actually moving, but we are putting in some alternate pins at all 3 courses.
Nice. And then someone's disc golf and Rude, I think his name. He says, "I'll take all those St. Pros." So I guess he likes the St. Pros. Nice. Oh, and Sean Chambers says Bruce Lee would smash Norris.
Of course he would.
Smooly says there's
on a literal sense he would.
There's a video on here, YouTube, where Bruce Lee beats up Chuck Norris. And someone says Bruce Lee actually did whip Chuck Norris's butt in Way of the Dragon. How funny, guys! Yeah, we'll have to find that video. Maybe put it on the blog. So, all right, looks like that's all we got for the YouTube. If you get on there after the broadcast is open, we apologize that we didn't get to it. You can, if you had a question, make sure you go to discgolfanswerman.com, hit the submit a question button, and you can submit your question, and we'll get Eric back on here as always, and he'll answer your questions. Again, if you have a question, oh wait, someone did have a Trilogy question that I thought was a good one. He sent it in real quick from David. He says, "What is the challenge? Is it just the name of the event? The video doesn't state the play format. Do you play 3 rounds? Is there a special course setup?" Well, actually, David, it's an excellent question.
Jeremy kind of covered that.
He kind of covered that. So go back to the beginning. But yeah, the Trilogy, it's like we call it the challenge because you're throwing brand new discs.
Yep.
And that's all you can throw is the brand new discs you just bought. So that's kind of the challenge part. You make up the format on your own, and that's called Trilogy because it's the 3 brands, the West Side, Dynamic Disc, and Latitude 64, and the fans have dubbed it the Trilogy, so we called it the Trilogy Challenge. So again, you can go to trilogychallenge.com/FAQ, and you can get more of your questions answered there. But if you have more specific questions, you can send it to a link I put out at discgolfanswerman.com for sure. So I think that's it. So like I said at the beginning, I'm going to be going to Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, Kentucky.
So make sure you stay tuned to our Instagram account and our Facebook account. So I'm going to be posting some pictures and videos of the happenings that are happening with us out at the RV, me and Rusco, out at Bowling Green. And you're going to go to
Texas
and play
Dallas,
in
the For the Chains A-tier event going on down there at the Rockwall, Texas, and the Autobahn.
Now, that's not your first time playing that course, is it?
No. I've played Rockwall quite a few times. Autobahn I haven't played in years.
Yeah.
Apparently they did like a revamp, put some new buckets and some new tee pads down. So I'm looking forward to playing that course.
Nice. We'll definitely look forward to hearing your experience on the next episode. So.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we're out.
All right. See ya.